Next, we have Ms. Iwona Bochenska, Senior International Trade Specialist with the Office of Trade and Investment of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity.
Still good morning. My name is Iwona Bochenska. I've been with OTI for almost 20 years. So, so much time, so many years, long years invested in with the government. That's the sign that we must be doing something meaningful. And I just see some of our clients here in this room, and when they saw me coming, they smiled. So this is a good sign. Yes, what we do, we help Illinois companies to export. And mainly, how do we do that? We do that by conducting market research, by organizing foreign trade missions, and also trade shows. A long time ago, we used to organize trade missions to specific country markets. For example, in 1996, I took a trade mission to former Yugoslavia. So at that time, it was the first event, the first international trade missions coming to the region destroyed by the war. So it was quite meaningful. And at that time, I was working with a bunch of business people who were committed to invest in a region and make sure that that part of the globe going to come back as a wonderful place to conduct business and a great place to invest. So I remember those days, but after the expansion of the European Union, we changed our strategy. So instead of being country-specific and sort of maintain this regional approach, we decided to just target the best trade shows available in Europe, because this is a great platform for Illinois-based companies to go and meet people representing all those wonderful countries. So it works for us, and I think that that's the model for 21st century. Of course, we are still open for specific individual requests to visit specific countries, and we support companies in doing so through our program that I will describe. So we have knowledge about the regions, we have financials to support individual companies, but we prefer to focus majority of our attention on so-called group trade missions. We organize close to 20 per year, and we target the most important markets. Before I described our programs in greater details, Illinois has overseas presence. We have one office in Europe, in Belgium. We used to have an office in Warsaw, serving as a regional office for Central Eastern Europe, but unfortunately this office got closed a few years ago. And I would say now is the best time to consider reopening this office, since we have so many wonderful countries in that part of the globe that offers so much for companies, and we have many companies interested in learning more and also to start business in markets that don't belong to traditional EU markets, So those markets are saturated and opportunities are somewhere else. And more Illinois companies, they realize that. And for example, 2 years ago, I organized a large delegation to the defense trade mission in Poland. It was a very interesting time for me, since defense sector, and being a female and lead the Illinois trade mission to this particular undertaking was quite challenging, because this sector is heavily dominated by male and many men in uniforms, in that part of the globe. It was one of the best events for me. Some of my companies, they started exporting to Poland and other countries in the region. So for now, we decided not to go back to that market for the next couple of years, but we're going to consider putting this back on our agenda in the years to come. But very good sector and very good event. And again, many people came from Central Eastern European countries, so it was a great platform for Illinois businesses to meet people representing your respective regions. Okay. And State of Illinois and our foreign offices. Of course, it is great to have people in Europe. It is great to have people in Asia. It is great to have people in Canada and Mexico, because many Illinois exporters, new to exports, the first steps are, of course, Canada or Mexico. And then, of course, Europe comes as an obvious choice of destinations, well-established markets, and also choices of traditional markets versus new markets, upcoming markets, offering great opportunities. So our foreign offices, they promote Illinois products, services, they provide logistical assistance, and also Consul General of Poland mentioned that the governor is planning another trip to Europe. So again, our European office, of course, is involved, scheduling some appointments on behalf of the governor. It depends who is traveling. We have numerous officials traveling. We have business delegations as well. So our offices, they organize business appointments for those depending on the sector and depending on the needs. We work closely with U.S. commercial service overseas, especially in terms of Gold Key service, which is well known, and many companies benefit from that kind of services. Just to give you an example about my trade missions, the events I just completed, all of those are well known. Paris Air Show, Medica in Germany, Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. So I just came back 2 days ago from Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, so I'm going to just say a few words about that. We started to do Mobile World Congress in Barcelona 5 years ago, and IT became a very strong industry sector for the state of Illinois, so we like to call ourselves Prairie Valley. And Prairie Valley, yes. When we went to Barcelona for the first time, it was overpowering. So many gifted people, very young people running around, so the level of energy is very difficult to describe. And for the first couple of years, I was sort of out of place. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have all those applications, and my companies, whoever I took there, they wanted me to be up to date, up to speed, so they loaded so many things and products on my poor cell phone that it's almost collapsed, you know. But after 5 years of doing that, I am more immune to it, so I'm more selective. So of course, I share their enthusiasm, since this trade show generates great results, but I prefer not to be a guinea pig for any new applications. I have not enough time for real life and human interaction, which is quite important as well. So, but just to give you an example, the companies, I took 6 companies, and they reported very high projected sales in the next 12 months. So our return on investment is huge. And again, Medica in Düsseldorf, Germany, this trade show sounds familiar to some of those people in this room. Very great trade shows, the largest trade show for medical sector, and again, generates wonderful results for us. And we have a rule that we take company 3 times as an exhibitor with the state of Illinois, so we support company 3 years in a row. And then we like our companies, our clients, to graduate and buy space on their own and continue. And Paris Air Show, again, we work closely with Rockford region. This is a strong industry sector for Illinois, and Paris Air Show generates wonderful results as well. With the budgetary constraints, this is not a secret. It is very difficult for us to plan our activities because the trade show organizers, they prefer states and, of course, exhibitors of signing the agreement a year in advance. We don't have a budget, so sometimes we have to wait for our budget even beyond the deadline of July 1st, which creates a lot of complications for us. But still, we survive and we try our best, and it is quite a rewarding experience every single time. I tell myself I'm going to give up. Medica won't materialize this year, since this trade show is in November. Sometimes I get to go late September, so not much time to recruit companies and take care of all the logistics. And then I always decide to say, yes, we're going to do it because I see a real value. Those trade shows help Illinois exporters, help Illinois companies. And like I said, after devoting 20 years in working for the State of Illinois Office of Trade and Investment, I won't say no. And I am always there to support my Illinois clients. Great. And iStep. This is a very good program that we do with SBA, with Small Business Administration. And this program helps us to provide companies with financial and technical support. How does it work? So we organize individual foreign market sales mission. So if the company is interested in going to Serbia, for example, and they come to me and they say, Iwona, we identified a very good trade show in Serbia. So could you help me? And my answer is, of course. If this is a good trade show for you, what we're going to do as a state, we're going to cover 50% of the cost of the booth. And also, we're going to cover, depends on eligibility, between 50 up to 75% of your cost in terms of travel, airfare, hotel. So it is very helpful for companies, especially small and medium-sized companies, because they don't have to invest tons of money in order to explore foreign markets. If they participate with us in terms of our group trade missions, then space is complimentary. They don't have to pay for it, which is a wonderful gift to Illinois businesses. And then also we reimburse them for travel, airfare and hotel. There are certain rules, of course, and up to a certain amount of money. So it goes without saying, if someone stays in Ritz-Carlton, then probably this company won't qualify for the reimbursement. So we follow certain guidelines, and based on it, this is up to a certain amount. But my companies are very good, and I've never seen some CEOs of quite successful companies staying in a very interesting small little hotels in Barcelona, because prices of accommodations in Barcelona, for example, they go up 5 times. So I stayed in a youth hostel that normally costs 60 euro. They charge me 300 euro per night for very modest accommodations. So you have to be very devoted to your job in order to go through the motion at certain stage of your life, yes, but it is worth it. So, and companies are well trained. Unfortunately, I had to always brief them and tell them, we have only 240 per night or 300, and we can reimburse you up to this amount, 50% or 75% when the company represents minority or women-owned or veteran-owned. So we have special provisions and extra help for those companies to encourage them to export and participate. And also we do products, we can help with product certification, for example, CE mark or ISO, and up to 3,000, we can cover 50% of the cost up to 3,000. Same with marketing assistance. If the company wants to modify his website, its website, we can also help up to 3,000. So there are certain, of course, regulations. We try to help as many companies as possible, but I would say this is quite generous nowadays, especially when you can go and space is provided. So for Medica, I have a long line, long waiting list. That's why this 3 years helps, because I can always graduate some companies and introduce new players to the game of international expansion and business. And eligibility requirements for iStep, the company has to be profitable, and the company has to have at least 250,000 in annual revenue, fewer than 500 employees, which goes without saying, small, medium-sized company. And they have to understand the costs of exporting, so we always organize briefings for companies who's going to participate. with us, and we invite U.S. Department of Commerce and also SBA to participate, and Exim Bank, so companies get a lot of information prior to the trade mission, which helps because then when we go there, this is wonderful. People are well prepared, they do their homework. So I would like to say thank you to our partners for your involvement. It means a lot to us and our clients. And also, a very important thing that College of Lake County, yes, sound strategy for exporting, yes. So also you are involved helping the companies to have good export strategy and business plan. It is required. We prefer to work with companies who are export ready because we don't have too much money and every dollar counts. So we like to take people who's gonna really benefit from whatever we have to offer. So, that's it for now. We are in the process of planning our events for a new fiscal year. I was told to propose 3 trade missions, and I did that. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to at least do Mobile World Congress and Medica in Germany. But also, like I said, we help individual companies to explore other markets and trade shows. We help between 80 to 100 companies per year. Many of them, they go to numerous European trade shows, Hanover Messe, Wire Trade Show, representing all kinds of industry sectors. So whatever we choose is just a good reflection of Illinois' strength and strength of our industry sectors. However, our economy is highly diversified, so that's why we have this individual assistance. So thank you, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for any of the speakers?
I'm Kevin Kim. I'm coming from College of Lake County. First of all, thank you very much for our wonderful partners, and 3 of them. So actually, we cannot make our small businesses happy without your continuous support. So Gina and I really appreciate it for your support. My questions to Allison, sometimes I'm anxious to answer the questions from my small companies. Can I just go to directly contact your overseas office to get some information, or please tell me about some processes, how we need to do?
Sure. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question, Kevin. What we prefer is that local partners or local U.S. companies route any requests or inquiries through your local domestic office first. And that's essentially because the domestic offices, the specialists in each office, serve as kind of client managers, and they can then direct you and connect you with our resources and offices overseas. That way our databases are up to date, and if a company comes back and wants to visit a different region of the globe, we can look you up in the system, see your previous inquiries, and adjust accordingly. Oftentimes, our overseas offices may be stretched on bandwidth, especially if there's overseas trade shows and the like. So if any requests are routed through the domestic field, that's just one more ally on your side as the company, so that we know to keep knocking on the door of our overseas colleagues.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
thanks.
And also I have one more question to Iwona. We know your famous I-STEP programs, but sometimes we need some support for market research. For example, once you face like this Eastern European countries, definitely we need to do market research from our side for the industry and for the country. But my question is to your market research is that a charge or not?
No. Whatever we do, all services are for free, you know?
Free.
So mainly, we don't charge for it. And for example, I get very specific questions.
Yes.
And sometimes I have to contact the person on ground
Yes.
to get some answers for us. So there's many information available in terms of markets, of course, through online research. There is country commercial guides. There's plenty of information. But sometimes companies, they have very, very specific requests or highly specialized. And, you know, being a generalist, I can't answer those questions. So, of course, we rely on a network of professionals and
No
people
charge.
who specialize. But no charge, no charge. Yes, no charge.
We have a lot of questions about that from on the table. The first thing is we have some differences at federal level and state level. So I want to make sure. Thank you.
Yes, and also, you know, sometimes companies that I'm working with, before they discover us, you know, because we are well-kept secret, they go through various consulting firms, they spend tons of money. So it is good for us to participate in events like that and publicize our services, because if we can help at no charge, this money can be used towards something else.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I might do a little shout out, Frigid Fluid has been exporting a long time. We've exported to every continent except Antarctica. And for a number of years, I've been working both with the state of Illinois and Commerce. And I have to say that it's been very rewarding. They've been very helpful. Not only the people in Chicago, but speaking personally with them around the world. If I'm in the area doing things in Europe or wherever, Latin America, they're happy to get together. So they do great service, and they'll do extra things. We had problems in one country with some intellectual property and trademark things. So they recommended a few attorneys that we could, local attorneys in that country, of whom Commerce knew, and said, you know, take your pick, which was very helpful. In a couple of countries, Netherlands and Republic of South Africa, for example, I go to trade shows, but small trade shows or places we're not quite sure about yet. Does it make sense to spend a lot of money to go there? We actually got people there who, it cost us a couple of dollars, but a lot less than what it would have cost us to go in person, who walked the floor at the trade show for us and got us referrals and contacts. So that was extremely helpful. So there are many, many ways that they can be used. The one thing I would say, though, that really helps is know what you need, know what you want, and put your list of questions together. Because every business is different. You know, they're thinking the broad areas, but really get specific and say, these are the things that can really help me. And how can you help me get these pieces of information or whatever it might be? So be very prepared when you go in and speak with them, whether they're the local people or when you contact Commerce or Illinois representatives overseas. That really helps get the job done quickly and much more efficiently. But thank you for all the things you've done for us and I know other businesses.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for your kind words. Yes, thank you.
Any other questions?
So, just one comment. I would like to encourage all companies to contact us and explore the opportunity resulting from ISTEP grant, because this is the best thing that has ever happened to Illinois and Illinois companies. And having money that we can simply distribute among companies and help them means a lot to us. So that's why I didn't even bring the list of whole trade missions that we do globally, since this is European-centric meeting. I just gave you 3 examples, but we have numerous events all over on many continents, but also we are open to tailored individual client services. So please keep that in mind, because even if the industry sectors don't fit into whatever you do, there are other ways of us to helping you as Illinois companies and taxpayers, of course.
Hi, this is Jan Blaha from Exim Bank. Just a couple comments that if you are expecting to export to Central and Eastern Europe, please be aware that your customers would expect open account terms. And I want to give you a hint how it works there. According to Brussels' recent information, if you're selling to Sweden and Estonia, the side payments mean that you get paid 4 to 7 days. If you're selling to Germany or Czech Republic, the side payment is not 1 day, it's not 2 days, but it's 4 to 7 days. If you are selling to Italy or Bulgaria, it's up to 21 days. So be aware of these delays. And as Dennis mentioned, there is something called the export credit insurance, so you can have those invoices insured against non-payment risk. At the same time, if you're a manufacturer of capital equipment, the Europeans always expect a financing offer. So please keep that in mind. Exim Bank has programs for foreign buyers of US capital equipment, so literally you can be cashed out at the time of the shipment. Thank you.